Now, with Jada Pinkett Smith endlessly promoting her new book, Worthy, that is ultimately stirring up a lot of drama about the whole Will Smith and Chris Rock situation and new revelations about their own personal life, which, by the way, we talked about this. Jada Pinkett Smith is having a very big problem with how SNL mocked her on live television to the point that she is now in the works and planning to go on the Howard Stern show with Sirius XM sometime in November to kind of call out SNL and the heads over at NBC. This is Mike Zero. Subscribe if you're new and like this video to see future updates. I'm also on Twitter at Mike01. I thank you also very much for the great and kind support. Now, we can all agree here, at least I hope that we can, that Jada Pinkett Smith is a pathological liar, she's a narcissist, and she is relentless with her overall view of how she actually sees the whole drama between herself, Will Smith, Chris Rock, and everything happening between herself and her personal life becoming public, and blaming SNL on all these different things is just ridiculous. But one thing about Jada Pinkett Smith is that we know that she has been excluded from Hollywood, and even the fence riders, as I like to call them, studios that have been on the fence on making a ultimate decision on whether or not they wanted to exclude her / blacklist her from ever getting an acting gig again, either for film or television. Well, things just got serious, and let's dive into it, shall we? Now, we know that Pinkett Smith is way up there on the insufferable list, as I like to call it. There's a group of actresses and or actors that I like to call the insufferables. I know it gets a little old after a while, but we have them. You know, we got them out there, and she's really at the top of the list, or one of the top people at the list here. Now, on top of all of this, with Jada Pinkett Smith getting caught up in the middle of the Will Smith and Chris Rock drama again, all due to the promotion of her book called Worthy, which includes revelations about Will and herself, one major development has to do with her blacklisting from Hollywood, as new truths actually surface behind closed doors. A crucial update surrounding this has to do with the fact that, as it turns out, Jada Pinkett Smith was recently and completely blacklisted from Disney, as she was in serious discussions and was locked in for a role for another Lion King spin-off film that would serve as a movie dedicated to Scar and new characters involved. This role of hers was lost after Disney finally made the decision to let her go completely. Now, in a shocking turn of events, she actually had a lot of contacts via Disney through Will Smith and was about to get multiple roles with them. Jada reportedly got these offers and opportunities through Will Smith, who was also lined up to do more work for Nat Geo. However, in a shocking event, of course, Jada Pinkett Smith, too, was supposed to do narrating work for Nat Geo for Disney+, as this was also something that Disney completely dropped her from. In addition to Disney blacklisting her from all films and television, she was also supposed to be placed to do voiceover work for a new Disney animated movie that she was recently taken off of, after her book created so much drama. Now, guys, let me just say one thing about the whole book Worthy, is that this new book is not only creating a lot of drama on herself, but it's also stirring up the drama about Chris Rock and Will Smith again. This is exactly why I think a lot of fans out there of anybody related to Chris Rock that views him as a great comedian are very annoyed about Jada Pinkett Smith once again kind of creating, terrible traction for himself as a comedian. Now, look, Chris Rock and Will, and I'm not defending Will Smith at all, by the way, but they are the only two individuals here that are trying to move on from all of this drama in general. We know that Jada Pinkett Smith did make a comment that she does plan on spewing out more books, and she's not going to stop here with Worthy. She's going to keep on going. And we know the whole Britney Spears drama, right? Her book is outselling Jada Pinkett's, and it's not looking good for Jada at all. But let's move on, shall we? Now, this is where it gets even more interesting, is that, however, another studio that dropped Jada Pinkett was Paramount Pictures, who was in the talks, get this, to bring Jada back, of course, into the Scream franchise somehow, some way. It's unclear if her character will be returning through de-aging technology, or as if she never really died from Scream 4. However, her role, or of course, not Scream 4, one of the Scream movies, However, her role for her talks in Scream 7 came to a screaming halt, no pun intended, as the Paramount heads also want nothing to do with Jada Pinkett. And this is just the beginning, as both Disney and Paramount were on the fence of making a decision for a long time since the Will Smith Oscar slap situation. Now again, we know that her appearance in Scream 2, I believe it was actually, not Scream 4, it really makes you wonder, how was she supposed to come back in another Scream movie? Who knows? You know, we know that this is an ongoing thing lately where, you know, a lot of franchises bring characters back. They've done this with Fast and Furious, they've done this with Star Wars, and they've done it also with multiple franchises that just kind of gets a little repetitive after a while, right? Now, about this, to top things all off, of course, even Netflix is now having serious discussions of wanting nothing to do with Jada Pinkett anymore, as they are the #1 fence-riding studio dealing with Jada. Warner Brothers recently finalized their plans to dropping all projects moving forward with Jada. This comes in the wake of Jada attempting to kickstart her career, which was always minimal to begin with in the first place. Jada has endlessly been blaming Will Smith's actions for her acting gigs falling short behind the scenes. However, in reality, this is all rooted to the drama surrounding her book and how it is actually causing the ever-growing amount of people opposed to her being in film and/or television, with Netflix now having serious discussions of dropping her from future movies and/or TV shows, either on or off screen. This is a living example of one hitting rock bottom in their acting career. Now again, the thing about Jada Pinkett Smith, I pointed this out many times, she never really was big in the film industry to begin with. Any acting gig that she did get, I mean, I think that we can all safely say it was through and because of Will Smith. You know, I think that the most notable role that I remember is her role in the movie Collateral with Tom Cruise and Jamie Foxx. And even in that movie, she was pretty minimal. She only came on and off screen, you know, here and there. She was the damsel in distress, basically, is what she was. That's the only movie that comes to my mind. That and Scream 2. Again, I believe it was Scream 2. Now, we know that there's a lot of things happening here with Jada Pinkett. The fact that all these studios are restricting her, they're banishing her, they're blacklisting her, whatever you want to call it. There's a lot of things happening in that field, and more studios are hopping on board. And again, yes, she has been out of work for a while, but this basically means that these studios never want to give her a chance in the future. She is not to be reasoned with, and that's exactly what they are doing. They don't want to reason with her ever again. They don't want to give her any kind of conversations or discussions or deals. All bets are off, basically. So, this is the slow turning of the tide, and maybe, and just maybe, in a decade, Hollywood will fully recover, which I don't believe it will, but that's a big if. We'll have to wait and see. But I would like to hear what you all have to say about the whole Jada situation in the Hollywood bubble, and if you guys did enjoy the content for today, make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel, and I will catch you guys later.